I have a huge problem about what is I. Where do I fit in I? I've got all these things done. I've got everything as though into some kind of a filter. And I see that everything only one. It's like all the gold ornaments you take and putting into some kind of a equipment which melts them. At the other end, you get only gold. All the characteristics have disappeared. There is no characteristic. There is no property. There is no length, breadth, nothing. There is no fine work of filigree or meenakari or whatever else. Nothing is there. Only gold. Like that, if I have some kind of an equipment, I'm an experimenter, I'm the observer, I've got this huge filter into which I put everything in this Jagat, and I'm able to see only Ekatvam. I am still not putting myself in there. So says, there is only Ekatvam. You can't have two. You're also part of the same thing. So how do I split myself? The I that I have assumed I to be, that's where the Karyakarana Sanghata came in. The entire Karyakarana Sanghata, at least in some form mentally, I can put into that melting pot. But even after I've done all that, I don't know where I is. I exist. Nobody can argue that I don't exist. Somehow I have to then understand that this Paripurnam Brahma eva aham. My God, this transition between a viewpoint which is purely Vyavaharika, where I'm seeing the entire Jagat and I'm seeing all the differences. I have to transit from there into the state of saying everything is nothing but that one Brahman. And eventually, aparokshataya, recognize that Brahman, Atma, as I. I have to be that Brahman. Now, this is the difficulty. Swamiji, it's very easy. You telling me that I should see the Ekatvam in and through all of these things, including whatever I thought I was. How do I do that? So some people will come up with an idea that, this is, Shastra says, this is not available to your senses. It is Indriya Atitaha. It is not available for words. Everything we get is only through the senses. It is not available to senses. Not available to words. Not available to the buddhi for analyzing it. No, I have very sharp buddhi. I have an IQ of 180. I can analyze everything. Not available. Indriya Atitaha. It is Atitaha for everything. Atita, I mean, transcends everything. It transcends words, it transcends manas, because all of them belong to the Apara Vidya, Jagat only. How do I know this? Oh, maybe I should experience it. The moment you say I should experience it, you are still in Dvaitam. I have to experience it. I have to experience it. A lot of people will tell you that it has to happen through only your experience. Brahman has to be experienced, Atma has to be experienced. When you say that, your individuality is still intact. Then you cannot conceive of Ekameva Advitiya Brahman. That is not possible. What else can I do? I have been given a very sharp buddhi. All my knowledge takes place in the buddhi. My senses give me inputs. With that input, I process in my buddhi and try and understand. How can I then understand this? Oh, maybe I need to go beyond the mind. Because the Shastra says, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Shastra says, it's not available to my mind. My buddhi cannot process it. It's not available. So maybe I need to go beyond buddhi also. Hey, beyond buddhi, I have no other equipment available to understand. Oh, maybe I should remove all thoughts. Thoughts are my problem. I should become totally thoughtless. This is a vritti jnanam. If you're going to remove all thoughts, how are you going to gain any jnanam? Huge problem. I start examining, see, very easy for Shastra to tell me it is to be done. I have only one buddhi. Even if you take the samashti buddhi of all the people here, all the jivas, it is still inadequate. How am I going to gain this knowledge? How is anybody going to gain this knowledge? We have a big problem. What I have to understand is that there is only one, and that is I. How am I going to do this? The mind is not equipped to do this. So you have statements in the Shastra which says mind cannot do it. And yet there is no other way of gaining this knowledge. The only equipment available for me to gain this knowledge is my buddhi. How am I going to live? My Upalabdhi sthanam is the buddhi. So Shastra, along with the Guru, point us in the right direction. Introducing this next mantra, this mantra is in fact, it starts a little abruptly. Manasa eva idam aptavyam. You can gain only through the mind. Total contradiction to other statements of the Shastra saying, not available to the manas. How do I reconcile this? How do I understand this? This is where the Guru comes in. So, Acharya Shankaracharya gives a small introduction to this mantra. And what he gives is not even a full sentence. He connects it with the mantra. What does he say? Prak ekatva vijnanat. Acharyagama Sanskritena. The sentence is not complete. Prak ekatva vijnanat. Before you can even understand this ekatvam, the mind is not good enough to understand this. Mind is the only equipment available. Mind meaning mind, buddhi, we use interchangeably. It is the only equipment available. It has been told it's not good enough. How do I know? Prak ekatva vijnana, before that ekatvam is understood, This mind has to undergo certain processes. Mind has to be, for want of a better word, refined. Has to be made ready. Has to be in a position to understand. So this mind is different from the mind that is commonly understood for everybody. Only a few people will have this process of refining, cooking, a well-done mind. Samskritena manasa. A well-cooked, well-prepared mind. And how do you prepare the mind? Cleanse it of all the muck that is collected. You can't dip it in surf and take it out and say, my mind is clean now. Reminds me of a very interesting incident my marketing professor once told us. When detergents were first introduced in the world, this company decided to, I don't know which company, it was Tide probably, decided to go to the Middle East to explore their market. And when they went there, did a lot of preliminary market study, they found that most people could not read. They were illiterate. So they decided that the best way to reach people is through a series of pictures. And they came up with an ad campaign which showed a dirty shirt. In the next panel, the shirt is dipped in detergent. And the third panel is absolutely clean, bright white. And they didn't sell even one packet. Entire Middle East didn't buy one packet. So then they did some research to find out what happened. All this looked good. We thought we'd got it communicated very well. Then they found out that Middle East, they read from right to left. So you can imagine what they imagined. You get a clean shirt, put it in the detergent, take it out the dirty shirt.
so they thought it'll become dirty.
So mind is not some processing. The mind is not like that. You dip it in detergent, take it out, and you get a clean mind ready for gaining this knowledge. What do you do? So Shankaracharya gives us a correct pointer for that. He says, Acharya Agama Samskritena. Acharyena Agamena Samskritena. By processing, cleansing, removing all the muck that is gathered in the buddhi, through a process of understanding what the Shastra says, not the words. Those words which Shastra elsewhere says can't get there. Yato vacho nivartante. From where birds come back because they can't reach it. Not those words. Not the words by themselves. But words which have been cleared, which have been unfolded. So, Agama is Shastra. Acharya Agama Samskritena. Samyakkritena. Have been processed and cleaned, made ready by the words of the Shastra, which by themselves are Aparavidya. You remember in Mundaka Upanishad very clearly says, what is Aparavidya? All your Vedas are Aparavidya. Words are only Aparavidya. That Aparavidya has to be unfolded by a guru. Now we understand why it's so important to look for a guru who is a Shrotriya Brahmanistha. And you will find that these two always go together. When you say pramana, while we say that Vedanta is a pramana, means of knowledge, source of knowledge, by itself it is not. I cannot simply say I will read that and I'll understand. I need a guru who will show the exact meaning for that. How did that guru gain it? Because he had a guru. And that guru had a guru, and that guru had a guru, and so on. When the guru teaches this in the tradition, it is not only the text that he unfolds, he also unfolds the method of teaching, presenting it. Knowing very well, Shastra knows very well that we have a problem. Therefore, the traditional teacher who is able to unfold it for the rest of us in a way that we understand, using methods that Shastra itself prescribes, that Acharya Agama Samskritena, Samyak Kritena, very well done. You know, the word well done is used in another context also. I don't know how many of you are aware, since I presume all of you are vegetarians. Sometimes people go to the restaurant and order steak. Some people say they want rare, means uncooked, literally. Some people say well done, nicely cooked. But well done or rare, it is rare, it is bad. How can you eat a living thing? But that is how it is. Shastra itself says Aushadhi is Annam. Aushadhi is plants and herbs. He doesn't say animals are Annam. Nowhere. Aushadhi Bhyonnam Annat Purusha. We group from there. And we go back to that. In the fields, that baigan that's growing, Katrika, maybe my great-great-great-grandfather. That is the cycle. The body goes, comes back. Every religion recognizes that. Dust unto dust. So this Samskritena Manasa, then he brings it up to that, and then ... then the mantra starts. Prak Ekatva Vijnanat Acharyagama Samskritena what? Samskritena what? Manasa. So this manas that Shastra refers to is not, it cannot be used to gain this knowledge, but it will be ready once it is processed through this process of Acharya Agama Samskritena Manasa. That's the difference. Therefore, what looks like apparent contradiction, Acharya makes very simply clear. So the mantra says, let's read the mantra. Manase Vedamaptavyam
मनसे वेदमाप्तव्यम्
Neha Nanasti Kinchana
नास्ति किञ्चन
Mrityo Samrityum Gacchati
मृत्यो समृद्धिं गच्छति
Ya Naneva Pashyati
Idaha naneva pashyati.
Yeah, yeah, here in Brahman, kinchana nana asti. Na iha nana asti kinchana. There is no duality at all. There are no two things. There can only be one thing. Last mantra, last word, or one of the last words was Purnatvam. If you even simply translate this as infinite, you cannot have two infinities. Can you? You cannot have two infinities. Infinite literally means everything. So, na iha nana asti kinchana. There is no question of many things. Nana, varieties, variegated things, which you classify into different things from a Vyavaharika perspective only. How do you know this? Manasa ev vedam aptavyam. It has to be gained only through a manas, which is acharya agama samskritena manasa. A mind that has been readied for gaining this knowledge. Only that mind can transition from this Vyavaharika view, which is all we have to begin with. Whether my IQ is 60 or 160, doesn't matter. My view is based on all the data gathered by the five senses, processed by the mind, and all kind of conclusions drawn. What basis does the mind draw conclusions? Certainly data, but also all that is there in the memory, chitta. That's how you do everything in the computer also. You feed in all the data, pull up what is available in the memory, process it to give you an output which is either in the form of action or in the form of decision. That is what we do. We draw conclusions. Only a processor which is really highly qualified can process this information. The information is in the form of words. It is Shastra. That information has to be first presented by a guru and then processed by a mind which has been readied through Acharya Agama. Acharyena Agamena prepared, Sanskritena. Only that mind. Therefore, it says, Manasa eva idam aptavyam. There is no other way. Idam jnanam. Manasa eva. And what kind of manasa? Shastra Acharya Samskrita manasa. Acharya Agama Samskrita manasa. Eva aptavyam. That is how you're going to gain this knowledge. What happens if you have only one of them, either Acharya or Shastra? You could have a very good teacher who is has very good way of explaining everything, but he has no backing of the Agama, of Shastra. So what is he going to teach you? What is he going to explain to you? He is going to explain only what he knows, what he has understood, which will be processed by an unprepared mind. However sharp that mind is, processed by that unprepared mind is all that he can teach you, however good a teacher he is. when we were in school, we had a lot of very good teachers. Very, very good teachers. When I say very good teachers because they cared about the students and they took effort to make sure that every student understood what they were trying to teach. But they were not the highly qualified teachers in the sense that they were not double PhDs and things like that. They cannot, for example, go to a master's degree in science or mathematics and teach them because they don't know. But in school, they were very good. They were good teachers. This teacher of this knowledge, Brahmajnanam, if he doesn't know Brahmajnanam himself, he can teach only what he knows. Only Brahmajnanam is also not adequate. Only Shastra is not adequate. Shastra requires somebody to unfold it for us. Therefore, both are equally important. Everywhere you see these two always go together. How Shraddha is defined in Tattva-bodha. That confidence in the Shastra Acharya Vakyam. That is Shraddha. Both are required. Therefore, idam jnanam manasa Shastrena Acharyena Samskritena manasa eva aptavyam, praptavyam, jnatavyam. But if I don't get it, if I'm still seeing the multiplicity, which tends to happen, particularly as we study this with an Acharya over a period of time, the initial phases, despite the fact that we are studying Shastra with the help of of a guru, our minds are already filled with so many things. And the reconciliation between what I have already concluded and what now the Shastra is telling you through the words of the guru, they're contradictory. I have a problem trying to reconcile them. I find it difficult to accept that I'm wrong. But Shraddha is there. Shraddha in the Shastra and the Guru is there. So I have to find a way to understand this. That if I don't, till I get it, till I become clear in this, that was the word Acharya used, prag ekatva vijnanat. Before getting clarity of this ekatvam, there will be nanatvam. And as long as nanatvam is there, in the previous mantra also we saw what happens. The individual is there because I and the rest of the world. And as long as that is there, you will always go round and round. There is no mukti. The assumption here is what? That the person who is trying to find out is a mumukshu. And therefore that mumukshu has to approach a guru and with that confidence, with that shraddha, that I will get it. Even though to begin with, there seems to be such stark differences, even despite that, despite the huge abyss between my own knowledge and between what now is being revealed to me, I have Shraddha. Till that Ekatva Vijnanam arises, first is acceptance of that, and then to figure out, because Shastra is one thing which doesn't tell you, because I tell you Ekatvam is you accept Ekatvam. And I see Nanatvam. It doesn't tell you just accept it because I say so. You have to work at it. Therefore, it is said that what you need is clear logic and analysis, Shastra based. Not logic analysis purely on the basis of logic analysis, you'll never get it. Shastra based tarka. That is the only way you can get it. That tarka means that my buddhi has to be alive and active. I don't simply follow what is said. I think, I do vichara, I do mananam, I question with a mind which is samskritena buddhi. So, iha kinchana nana asti. This jnanam, idam brahmajnanam, manasa eva aptavyam. Shastra, shastrena, acharyena, samskritena manasa. That Sanskrit is beautiful, no? All tritiya, by this, by this, by this. Shastrena cha, acharyena cha, samskritena manasa. That mind which is well prepared, that is why you find there's so much emphasis on adhikaritvam. That adhikaritvam includes mokshatvam. Adhikaritvam includes clearing the mind of mess that is already there through a process of shamadamadi shatka sampattihi and gain this viraga through viveka. Then the person is ready with this mind prepared and can gain this knowledge. There is a small Bashyam only in this. We will look at the Bashyam. Manasa eva idam brahma ekarasam
Brahma ekarasam
aptavyam.
aptavyam.
This only can be gained through manasa, through mind, and it already introduced it in the introduction to the mantra by saying this manas should be acharya agama samskritena manasa. So, manasa eva idam brahma ekarasam. Only one Brahma, unchanging Brahman, has to be gained. The knowledge of that has to be gained. 2 steps. One, to understand that everything is nothing but Brahman. And then the Mahavakyam, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that Brahman, not this body, mind, sense complex. This Karya Karana Sanghata is only an Upadhi. And the Upadhi seems to create this Nanatvam. I have to look much further. Manasa eva idam brahma ekarasam aptavyam. That Brahman is Atma eva. Atma eva.
Atmaiva
Nanyat asti ati.
Nanyat Asti Iti.
Atma, Brahman, same thing. Atma meaning Jivatma. He is the same as Paramatma. He is the same as Brahman. No difference. There is no merging into Brahman. There is no Amsha of Brahman. If you say Amsha of Brahman, you're still retaining an individuality. Not that. understand in and through all of this, like our Somadatta, see that ekatvam. Atma eva na anyadasti. There is nothing else. Sa Brahma, sa Atma is the same. No difference at all. Once you gain that Brahma Jnanam, what happens? Aptecha,
Apteja,
nanatva pratyuparthapikaya, pakaya,
Nanatva Pratyupathapikaya,
pratyuparthapikaya,
Nanatva
avidyaya,
Avidyaya,
nivrittatvat iha,
Nivritattvadiha,
brahmani,
Brahmani
nana na asti kinchana,
Nana na asti
asti
kinchana
kanchana
anumatramapi,
anumatram
anumatram
api.
aptecha, having understood, gained this knowledge, there is no possibility of nanatvam. Because the knowledge gained is ekatvam. Ekameva advitiya Brahman ahamasmi. In fact, I keep saying I is. When you say I am, we tend to separate I from everything else. That I is akhanda, indivisible. Therefore, I would even say aham asmi, instead of saying, I'd say aham asti. Only aham. Apte cha nanatva pratyuparthapikaya avidyaya
Vidyaya
avidyaya nivritatvat.
avidyaya nirtatvat.
nivartatvat.
That avidya
Yes,
is there, which is the cause of this nanatvam, which is then in turn the cause of the cycle. That avidyaya nivritatvat, how are you going to remove the avidya? Through vidya only, through jnana. They are opposed to each other. So when you bring in jnanam, avidya goes. Avidyaya nanatva pratyupathapikaya upathapikaya, you can say sthapitam. Nanatvam is created because of avidya. It means the same thing, big word. Pratyupathapikaya, avidyaya. That avidya nivritatvat, having been removed in Brahman, iha Brahmani,
iha
then what
Brahmani.
happened? We've read this already, no?
Yes.
Nana na asti kinchana. There is no nana, there is no multiplicity. Because your knowledge is clear, avidya has been removed, avidya leads to nanatvam, there is no, avidya has been removed, meaning it has been negated. Nanatvam has been negated. So there is only ekatvam. In Brahman, Brahmani, nana na asti. Kinchana nana asti. Leshapi nasti. Anumatramapi nasti. Not even an iota of difference. You cannot have a different division. Even if it's very small, no, Swamiji, I have only very small level which I've done, see the difference. The moment you see that, swalpamapi, there is division. So when avidya is completely removed, avidya is nivartatvat, Brahmani, in Brahman, nana na asti, kinchana nana na asti, anumatramapi nana na asti. Solpamapi nana nasti. Chanceless. But if we continue, because you are not able to free yourself of the avidya, and it will happen for some time, certainly even for the serious seeker, it will take some time. There has to be clear Shraddha. There has to be confidence that I will get it sooner or later. And there has to be commitment to continue this search. It will happen. But certainly in the early days of trying to understand, even though you have a very good guru, even though you have access to Shastra, it may not easily happen. We continue to live in this Vyavaharika Jagat. There will be daily pressures of Vyavaharika. There is the pressure of my own conclusions which fill my mind. There is the pressure from all my contemporaries, to whom if you try to explain what you thought you understood by doing Shravanam, in the first place, I find it very difficult to explain to somebody else because I've attended 2 classes. And then he has a lot of counter arguments. One young person once told me, all of you saying that there is reincarnation, rebirth, etc., only because you're all afraid of death. You don't want to face it. That's an argument. It's a fact that everybody fears death. One of the bhaya we have. That bhaya will also go with clarity of understanding. But that's a bhaya that every human being has. Nobody wants to die. Even if they are physically or emotionally suffering, they don't want to die. They want to delay it. You will pray to Yamadharmaraja, please take me away. There's too much problem in this life now. I'm already 80 plus. Yamadharmaraja comes, you tell him, can you give me a few more days? You know, I have my great grandson is coming home from America. I'd like to spend some time with him. Nobody wants to die. But that's the fact of life. That is only a flip of the life as far as the Sharira is concerned. There is nothing else. So he says, Nana Nasti, Kinchana Nana Nasti. But if you don't recognize this, if you don't recognize the Ajnanam, you're not able to remove the Ajnanam, and one tends to, the 2 things happen. One is in the initial days, like I said, you have a problem. That's why Shastra recognizes it and therefore presents it to us in so many different ways. Why do I need to study so many Upanishads? Every Upanishad says exactly the same thing. Just to help me understand. What happens if we don't understand? What happens, Swamiji, if this Ajnanam doesn't go? If we have commitment, wait, continue what you're doing. It will go. That's an assurance from Shastra itself. Achirenadi gacchati. If you don't have commitment, what happens? We will look at that in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shri
हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः तत्सत् नमस्कारः धन्यवादाः
ओम स्वामी।
ओम स्वामी जी।
प्रणामः
ओम स्वामी जी।
Om, Om,
हरि ओम
Om.